Yes, that is what I'm talking about. Mariners win 5-0. They improved to 18-15 on the season, and they even the series with the Astros at a game apiece. We'll go over the scoring plays as we always do. Second inning, Mariners get on the board first. Cal Raleigh grounds into a double play, but it does score Ty France, 1-0 Mariners. Fourth inning, Mariners double the lead, with a Mitch Garver double. That scores Jorge Polanco, 2-0. Fifth inning, Luis Urias, not Luis Arias, who was kind of surprisingly traded, by the way, clobbers a home run to center. It goes 420 feet. That seems light. 3-0 Mariners. And then the sixth, big dumper from the right side. Homers to left center to score Ty France. 5-0 Mariners. Astros unable to get anything going, and we'll talk about why. Before we get into it, I want to remind everyone that we're going to have a Mile Y enthusiast chat on Sunday. In order to join that chat, you do have to join. It's $4.99 a month. We're going to have a bunch of videos. We're going to have a bunch of chats. I really appreciate the support. I'm not pressuring anyone into joining, but I want to let you know that it is available. And I appreciate so much everyone who has joined so far. But yeah, 4 o'clock tomorrow, we will do that chat. It will be fun. I promise you. The other thing is, I kind of want to apologize about yesterday's video. I just didn't have it in me. I just didn't have it in me. You know, I hosted for Ian from 12 to 3. I didn't sleep well the night before. Then I had a 3-hour drive home. I went to grandma's for a little bit. Then I had to cover 6 baseball games. And I worked 5 a.m. this morning. I just didn't have it in me. I hope people didn't take that as me being unappreciative doing the shorter video and giving you guys just a chance to vent about an awful baseball game. An awful one inning, to be fair, but it culminated into an awful game. I think really the only negative from tonight's game is that you are one competent Major League Baseball team inning away from being up 2-0 in this series and being 19-14 and 5 games up and being 7 wins ahead of the Astros. You are one competent inning away from doing that. But the 7th inning was as bad of an inning I've seen the Seattle Mariners ever play. Today, Julio was just okay, but he does get on twice. Sam Haggerty steals a base. His at-bats have not looked particularly sharp, showing off the athleticism, but that can't be your starting left fielder. I don't hate it against left-handed pitching if you've got a really good lefty bat to pair him with, but and if before anybody points out, well, he was better against lefties last year, come on. Come on. Come on. Haniger wasn't great, but everybody got hits tonight except for Dylan Moore, and he drew 2 walks. I'm really struggling to find a negative from this game. So let's just jump into the positives. And the first positive is simply Seattle, of course. Awesome stuff for the Mariners, the Seahawks, the Kraken, the Huskies, their own stuff as well. Wearing the Kingdom sweatshirt today, or hoodie. It's a sweatshirt, but it's got a hood on it, so they call it a hoodie. I taught you something today. Once you find all the good stuff that you like, go enter code MollyWatt15. It takes 15% off your order. It's an awesome deal. It shows that you're paying attention to the show and also helps you out by taking 15% off your order. MOLLYWHOP15. There is a link in the description to make it nice and easy for you so you don't have to remember if there's an H in there or if it's all one word, whatever. That code is there. Bada boom, bada bing. I wanted to end with Logan Gilbert, but how do you talk about anything but Logan Gilbert? I'll tell you one negative that was weighing on my mind. I was in the group chat with a bunch of, not a bunch of people. I was in the group chat with the Mollywop crew. And that's such a weird thing to say now that I think about it. I was in the group chat with Nathan, Ian, and Anders, and I said, if Logan Gilbert ends up throwing a complete game 1 hitter and the only hit he allows is a gosh dang Yordan Alvarez bunt single, I'm going to self-immolate. And thank goodness he allows 1 other hit. And it was a hard hit. So it was, deserved. And he does walk 4, but I actually thought his command was outstanding tonight. He overthrew a couple of fastballs. He was clearly hyped up, and he should be because he was spectacular. He only strikes out 6, and again, we'll go quotations there. That's not indicative of how dominant he was. They didn't square him up at all. Outside of Pena's single up the middle, there was so little hard contact. He's been spectacular. This whole staff has been spectacular. But Logan Gilbert, to me, take away, the Kirby 12 strikeout effort, unbelievable. Miller, the 6 no-hit innings, unbelievable. Castillo against the Rockies, minor league baseball team, so it barely counts, but still stuff was unbelievable. Consistently, Logan Gilbert, I think, has been the ace of this staff. That is high praise, too. And they tied the 1917 White Sox, I believe I heard, for consecutive outings where they have allowed 2 earned runs or less. It's a little misleading because Emerson Hancock pitched poorly enough to take that streak away. Fortunately, more quotation marks, the defense was so crappy that those runs became unearned. Whatever. Take advantage of it and keep the streak going because they are just shoving. And Logan Gilbert shoved at a level that it's hard to quantify. There was so much weak contact, so many pop-ups, so many fly balls into the middle of the outfield. The trust level I have for Gilbert right now, and I trust all of these guys. Well, I trust 4 of these guys. Emerson Hancock, you still got to earn it a little bit. But I think I trust Gilbert the most right now. And maybe this is a little bit, not confirmation bias, but a bias based on the most recent thing happening, right? You look at the numbers, though. You look at the numbers and what he did to this Houston lineup today, and I don't see how you couldn't put him in that top spot. Now, if you're asking me, Chris Crawford, how you lining up your rotation right now for a playoff series? I would probably go Castillo, Gilbert, Kirby. Man, it's hard. It's so hard. You could do it in any order and be right and wrong. It's clearly those 3. All due respect to Bryce Miller. It's clearly those 3. But what a good problem to have. What a good problem to have. Now, in order for it to matter, you got to play better offensively so that this can matter. You got to score more consistent runs. And you got to take good at-bats. Here is one of the biggest positives outside of Gilbert. I thought the Mariners took outstanding at-bats tonight. They made Framber Valdez work. 3 walks, it's not like the 7 that they were drawing against Cincinnati and Colorado. But it doesn't really speak to how much they, do I have to do quotation marks again? Yeah. Controlled the zone. Because they fouled off tough pitches. They didn't chase. I thought they were a really good offensive team tonight. Great to see Julio get on twice. Great to see Dylan Moore get on twice. Jorge Polanco. Mitch Garver with the 2 doubles. One of those doubles a little questionable, which, by the way, if Julio's running on that, that's a triple at least, right? Like, maybe we're talking about inside the park. Maybe. It's a little tougher on left field, especially there because the left field's so close, but awful defensive play by Yordan Alvarez. But hit the ball hard tonight and got a big double to double that lead. Mitch Garver with a couple of knocks. We just talked about Mitch Garver. Ty France with a couple of knocks, scores a couple of runs. The rally homer, I think, was massive, not only for really putting the game away. There was no way in heck Houston was going to get 5 runs, but for Big Dumper as well. He had I'll say this. I didn't do a good enough job talking about how bad Cal Raleigh has been at the plate as of late. Because I think I just get lost with it sometimes because of how good he is defensively and how much some of these other guys are struggling. But even with that homer, Raleigh's only getting on at a 292 clip. And a 420 slugging percentage is nice, but it doesn't really make up for 210 and 292, 210 being the average. But I thought that homer was massive. And, if it would have been a double, that would have been fine. Hard contact into a tough place to homer because of the way that park is set up. But the ball going over the fence, I think, was big. Thought it was really big. I have so much confidence in him. So much confidence. But there's no denying that over the last week or so, he's been kind of icky. But tonight wasn't icky. And then Luis Urias, the pop is there. The pop is absolutely there. That's the third homer. He slaughtered that baseball. And this third base platoon is working out pretty darn well. And I think we were all skeptical. And then we got some confirmation bias with how they were playing in that first couple of series, right? But since then, Josh Rojas has been the most effective Seattle Mariner hitter. It's not even close. And Luis Urias has really held his own. Third base isn't really an issue for me. Can that change? You bet. Either of those guys gets hurt, or either of those guys starts, obvious point is obvious. If a player's playing bad, you need to look at other options. But it's not cemented. But it looks pretty darn good right now. Thought it was a position they absolutely had to go get better at. But based on the first fifth of the season, no, this is working. It's working defensively. It's working in terms of the platoon. Seems to be working out great. You look at the 154 average and you say gross, but OPS of like right around 800. I'm not complaining. Not hard anyway. This was a great win. This was a complete win. And it was awesome to see. And I think you have to give a ton of credit to Scott Service for this. Because no, Scott Service did not pitch. And he didn't hit. But you know what I mean mostly with the pitching, that like Logan Gilbert was going to do what he was going to do. But a lot of teams, when you have an inning like that seventh inning last night, have a tendency to carry that over. I didn't see any carryover tonight. And that was awesome. Yeah, the only negative here is that you really should be up 2-0 in this series. You should be going for the sweep tomorrow with Luis Castillo on the mound against Hunter Brown, who has been not good. Not good. I think if I was going to I've never done this before, but if I was going to give you keys to the game, you got to make Hunter Brown work. Now, not in terms of, I can't wait to get this guy out of the game, in terms of this guy's command is not very good. His control is not very good, especially at time. Well, especially last year is what I was going to say, but it actually kind of made it. Whatever. Make Hunter Brown work. Apparently, you've made me work too hard because what I just said was nonsense, but you know what I mean. I think series win would just be phenomenal. And I will admit, or maybe admit's not the right word. I will tell you right now that a win tomorrow, I'm going to really be ticked off about the seventh inning. A loss, I'm going to be ticked off about that seventh inning. It's going to stick with me for a while. But just go win tomorrow, win another series, go up 7 wins on the Houston Astros. Not a small number. Not a small number whatsoever, even with a lot of baseball left to be played. By the way, we are over the 1/5 point. So samples are no longer small. Samples aren't large, but samples are no longer small. I love this one. I loved this one. And I would love if you hit like and if you hit subscribe. I'd love you even more if you hit join, but no pressure. Logan Gilbert, you are, man, this is fun. This was fun. I'm having fun again.